Welcome back to another lesson in the study of success. Today, we're going to talk about risk and a small business or nonprofit's ability to prepare for risk. I'm going to give you 5 different topics of risk planning. Here we go. The first thing that you have to think about when considering risk is being aware. Being aware of risk gives you the ability to plan for it. You can't plan for something that you're not aware of. You don't know what you don't know. But being aware of the different types of risk can help you develop plans and strategies that will help mitigate the risk if and when it ever happens. So because I'm an accountant or a CFO with a bookkeeping background, financial risk is going to be pretty up there on my list. So I'm going to recommend being prepared for financial risk first, just because it deals with the financial positioning of your company. And when I talk about financial risk, I'm talking about internal controls. I'm talking about your accounting systems of how you safeguard your assets, the company's assets, the organization's assets. The second type of risk is economic risk. This deals with recessions, depressions, downturns in the economy, natural disasters, accidents, explosions, and of course, pandemics. Right now, the pandemic that we're in, COVID-19, that is a risk factor that can and should be planned for, prepared for. Now, the one thing I can say is that when dealing with risk, the solutions they vary. However, there is a bottom line core solution to any type of risk assessment, especially when dealing with financial and economical. And also, and I'm going to tell you what that is in a second. Also, there is social risk. That's what happens when the culture shifts from one stance to another. And sometimes they're in polar opposites. Usually it's from a conservative to a liberal, from a liberal to a conservative, to a progressive, to a limiting type of scenario. So when culture shifts happens, you have to be aware of them and be cognizant of them so that you can plan around them, because what's sold today might not sell tomorrow based off of the culture's view of what you're selling. And then there's political shifts. So that deals with party systems, especially when dealing with international markets. You know, if a certain party or class of politicians are in office, that's going to affect your business a different way than if another type of political party was in office. So the social risk components are cultural and political. And these are things that you just have to be aware of, things that you have to monitor on a regular basis. There are IT risk. That's computer software, that's cyber, that's protecting your client's data. The risks that are involved with IT can be mitigated by having an IT plan. There are legal risks that's dealing with lawsuits, contracts, things that can be mitigated based off of one, being very cognizant of what you're signing, being very protective, and there's also a labor risk or human risk when it comes to workers' comp, when it comes, and that's the liability piece of it. When it comes to employees, those are the types of things that you have to be aware of. And then there's credit risk of being able to protect your business credit score, which allows you the ability to be able to leverage financial credit, lines of credit, things like that. So the second thing is being prepared. You have to create a plan for every scenario. Then once you create that plan, you have to create a policy. So the policy comes forth out of the plan. And what this does is help ensure continuity. This helps put something on the shelf that can be reviewed on an annual basis. Doesn't have to take a lot of time or effort to review it and to make sure that it's still relevant to your organization. You have to work through the worst case scenarios. You know that old adage, plan for the worst, hope for the best. It really, really can be the difference between saving an organization and watching an organization perish. Another type of risk that you have to mitigate, and you do this through insurance. You got professional insurance, you have key man insurance, you have general liability insurance, you have casualty and property loss insurance, things like that. So that piece, that's the topic that helps deal with the type of risk that I just made you aware of with the first bullet point. And the fourth topic, and I should be numbering these as I go, the fourth topic is having emergency funds. Emergency funds will help you mitigate a lot of the risk. Basically, that's reserves. The more reserves you have, at least 6 months, and if you can make it to a year, that will help you mitigate and get through most of these risk factors, because most things is about timing and being able to operate when your cash flow is interrupted. A line of credit can help, and it also deals with cash flow, which is the most important. The fifth topic is continuity of operation planning. So it's how are you going to manage your business if and when some of these things occur? If there is financial issues or internal control problems, and usually this becomes more prevalent or more necessary to mitigate if you're a publicly traded company. If you ever did an IPO and you have to put out financial reports, or it also maybe a nonprofit. It's not the same standards or requirements. However, you do have the same necessity to be able to put out good financial reports. So what happens if your supply chain is interrupted? What happens if there's a worker stoppage? And this is the employer labor law, the human resource risk, when you have unions and things that can stop your workflow. These are things that has to be mitigated. So when you're thinking about risk, this is something that is very important part of your business planning model. It should be one of those things that is thought about, prepared for, and hopefully never having to be acted upon. So when you get to that place of being, and it shows the solid foundation of your company when you are able to be cognizant of those things. So this has been another episode of A Study of Success. I'll see you in a good life.